Hey, Shalom Makiyam. Hey, first and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just want to get into a brief live. As you can see by the title, we about to win, man. It just hit me through the spirit. I was cruising, chilling, laying low, trying to collect my thoughts. A long week. We go through a lot. Those of us in this truth, starting with the men that have been thrusted out into the forefront, to do this work. So, sometimes Jake just wants to be alone, man. So just, in my thoughts, in my mind, and that title came to mind, and it triggered this live stream. But needless to say, it's the truth, man. There's accounts in the scriptures, all right, which we can, go into and, read about, meditate on, to give us the spiritual confidence that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to do the same thing he did then, now. Why would there be anything different? As it tells us in Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, that there's no new thing under the sun, man. What is then is now. You see? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to execute a strange work. All right, this go around. All right, he did a strange act during the time of ancient Egypt. The exit out of Egypt was a strange work. You see? So how much more now? It tells us in Second Esdras that he's gonna bring plagues upon Egypt as before. You see, it's gonna be a level of divine intervention that takes place this time around that the world has never seen before. Okay, when we read Daniel's 12 and 1, when it goes into a time of trouble like the world has never seen, hey, that's cohesive with the divine intervention, man. Remember, Michael's gonna stand up for the children of his people, man. So there's gonna be divine intervention as Esau's pushing his AI technology, all right, cyborgs, all right, and all levels of transhumanism to come upon the tribes. Guess what? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is gonna be working. Okay, he's gonna be executing divine intervention, man. And as a matter of fact, yeah, the Lord's gonna pull up, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is gonna pull up. All right, contrary, undenounced to the world, man. Okay. The Lord's going to pull up and he's going to defend his elect. Lord willing, we're part of that precious number. Let's go here real quick. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 28. And verse 21, and it reads, "For the Lord shall rise up as in Mount Perazim. He shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act." And when you tap into what he did, all right, in Mount Perazim, all right, this is talking to when he defended David, okay, when we were warned against the Philistines, man. Okay, upon him being found out he was crowned, the Philistines pursued Israel, man. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I know it is 2 Samuel, and is that First Chronicles? I like how it's written in First Chronicles. I think that's First Chronicles 13. Let me see something real quick. Is it 14? Here we go. Yup, it's 2 Chronicles 14. All right, First Chronicles 14. And verse I'm gonna start at verse 11. A matter of fact, I'm gonna start up. Let's just read into it a bit. Yeah, let's start at verse 8. Pretty much gonna read down. We're pretty much gonna read down to the bottom. But let's start at verse 8 though, because this is what that's talking to. Isaiah 28. The Lord shall rise up like in Mount Perazim. This is what this is talking to right here. Divine intervention took place for King David. Okay, so how much more now when the Lord said the tabernacle of David is being raised up, like in the days before, man. Amos 9. Check this out. First Chronicles 14 and 8, and it reads, and when the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, okay, all the Philistines went up to seek David, and David heard of it, and went out against them, man. And remember, these Philistines were bitter as all hell. Here it is. Remember, David smote their mighty warrior, Goliath. All right, made a complete joke out of him. Okay, with a damn slingshot and a stone or what have you, man. Okay, put him out of his misery, man. Decapitated him, made him look crazy. All right, when you read about that account, it tells you that all the Philistines fled when they seen that. Okay, so you better believe they were still bitter for that. That land was being taken, you know. They were being steamrolled over, man. So they had vengeance in their heart, man. But check this out. And the Philistines came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, saying, should I go up against the Philistines, man? So you see how he didn't lean upon his own understanding? He inquired of the Lord. You see, he's not operating under his own counsel. You see, he seeked the counsel of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Check this out. And wilt thou deliver them into my hand? And the Lord said unto him, go up, for I will deliver them into thine hand. Now check this out. So they came up to Baal Perazim, right? And David smote them there. And then David said, power hath broken in upon mine enemies by mine hand, like the breaking forth of waters. Therefore, they called the name of that place Baal Perazim. And when they had left their gods there, David gave a commandment, and they were burnt with fire. Okay, so that's what we would do back in the days of old. Burn down these heathens' temples, their altars, which represented their gods. All right, showing that they've been overcome, right? And they are no gods, they are no power, they're idols. You see? Look at verse 14. Therefore, 1 Chronicles 14 and 14, 144, call Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Therefore, David inquired again of power. And power said unto him, go not up after them, turn away from them. Matter, let me start at verse 13. Salakia, let me read 13 again and read down. Verse 13, and the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. So they came through. This is the second campaign. All right, they slid through, right? After they were sat down the first time around. Right, therefore David inquired again of power, and power said unto him, go not up after them, turn away from them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. And it shall be, when thou shalt hear a sound going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle, for power is gone forth before thee to smite the hosts of the Philistines, man. And how you think the Lord did that, man? The chariots were on the scene. Divine intervention was taking place, man. Look, David therefore did as power commanded him, and they smote the host of the Philistines from Gibeon even to Gaza. And the fame of David went out into all lands, and the Lord brought the fear of him upon all nations, man. Okay, and guess what? This is gonna happen again in the form of the Lord rising up against Esau, the rest of these heathen, when they try to storm the elect. You see, the tabernacle of David is being raised up. The Lord's going to defend his elect. It's not going to just be a situation where this nigga Esau just comes through, steamrolls over everybody, okay, takes the elect out, has his way with them. It's not going to play out like that. Divine intervention is going to take place, man. Let me see something real quick. What was that? Judith. Judith is another good account. All right, when you go to Judith, all right, during the times when Holofernes, He was the head captain of the Assyrian military, which he led the charge. He had the Moabites with him. All right, he had the Ammonites with him. Right, and they were trying to come into Samaria to make their way into the Holy Land, man. Okay, but hey, they run into a surprise, man, in the form of Judith. But the point is, in that account, you had Achior, which was the captain of the Ammonites, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go there. And he was he was under Holofernes, but he was telling them, like, look, if these people are obedient to their power, we don't stand a chance. Why? Because he's gonna fight for them. Let's read it. You see, so those of us that are operating under obedience, understand Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is gonna raise up a standard as written in Isaiah 59 for that elect. You see, those that turn from transgression in Jacob, the Lord's gonna show up and show out. Right? So when you go to the book of Judith, let's get this account. The book of Judith, chapter 5. Let me see here. In verse I'll start at verse 17. Right now, mind you, again, this is Achior, the captain of the Ammonites, right, which are the modern day Japanese. All right, talking to his chief commander in this case, which would be Holofernes. All right, the chief captain of the Assyrians. Okay, now check this out. He was telling them upon them engaging our land, right? Samaria. Now remember, Samaria was a hilly land. It was hard to infiltrate into Samaria. How much more when the Lord is fighting for us, right? But check this out. Judith 5 and 17. And whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered, because the power that hateth iniquity was with them. Okay? Look, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. Right? And this is the situation we stand in today. All right? The Lord's words of oath flared up against us, and here we are. Our no people scattered throughout all four corners of the earth. But now through the mercy of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, all right, he's sent forth his son, all right, which allowed us to be granted access back to this beautiful covenant, man. Okay? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, he was wroth with us for some time because we turned against him. You see? But now he's allowing us to return back through Yahushai. It's through Yahushua's sacrifice that we're granted access back to the Lord, Yahweh. But again, we're dealing through Yahushai. You see, our praise, it's Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Because hey, Yahweh's still mad, man. That's why he's gonna take that one last proverbial swing on 2/3 of you niggas, man. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we don't want to fall victim in that lot. We don't want to put forth our hands to evil, man. You see? But ultimately, where we stand today, all right, we're being held captive in the land that's not ours. All right? And efforts for prophecy to play out so that second Exodus can take place. Okay, the greatest deliverance that the earth is ever going to see, pursuant to Jeremiah 16. And it's also reiterated in Jeremiah the 23rd chapter. All right, this salvation, this deliverance, all right, is going to supersede the deliverance that took place in ancient Egypt. And on top of that, everybody ain't going this time. Only the elect are going to be delivered. 2/3 are going to be cut off and die, pursuant to Zechariah 13 and 8. Lord willing, we're part of the elect. Abaratazah. Lord willing. Right, let's continue on. Right, continuing on in Judith 5 and 18. I'm going to read it from the top. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their enemies. But now they return to their power, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and are possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, which is Samaria, for it was desolate. Again, in the way they were coming in, you have to get through Samaria. You had to get through that hilly country To get to our sanctuary, you had to get through the northern kingdom. So you had to get through us to get to the source. Okay? But check this out. Let's continue on. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, again, this is Achior speaking to Holofernes. If there be any error in this people, if there be any error in the Israelites, right? And they sin against their power, let us consider that this should be their ruin. And let us go up. And we shall overcome them, you see? And this is something the heathen know. The heathen know, starting with Esau. If he keeps us in transgression with our power, he has access to keep us in the destroyed state. You see? But here it is. A monkey wrench has been thrown in this nigga's plan. Because what happened? The Holy Spirit was sent by Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, as it's written. Okay? And that's put Esau in a position where he's pretty much been put in a jam. You see, he's in a situation where he can't change what the Lord has already set in place. The Holy Spirit is something he can't fight against. He can't stop that because it's spiritual, it's not carnal. You see, this is something that's pretty much put a monkey wrench in his plans, man. Okay, because he understands. This is why he puts pork in everything. All right, this is why he allows sexual immorality to go forth. All right, this is why he allows the woman to lead the households. All right, this is why this man allows, Jake to push forth wickedness in the form of this rap music. All right, and off other men is a lifestyle that Jake involves himself in. These black culture, like Latino culture, Native American culture, all that shit's rubbish. You see, and ultimately it's set up by Esau to keep us in a destroyed state. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai had a grape cluster off to the side the whole time and pulled the okie doke on Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That grape cluster, that elect, he left off to the side, man. It tells us in what? In Isaiah, what's that, 1:9? All right, if the Lord, let me go get that real quick. And we're going to come right back here. The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto a very small remnant. Let me read that one more time. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. Right, remnant being the remainder, the leftover. Right, the elect. That's who that's talking to. We should have been as Sodom and should have been like unto Gomorrah. All right, Admah, Zeboim, and Zoar, man. All right, which were the neighboring cities, man, of Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, which the Lord, he sent forth fire from heaven, man, and destroyed that place. Okay, this is what Israel would have been likened unto if the Lord didn't leave that remnant, if the Lord didn't leave that grape cluster you can read about in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, man. You see? And this is something Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, couldn't and can't control. All right, so when we go back to Judith 5, all right, bear with me. In verse 19 again, but now are they returned to their power and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, right, if they're going off with their power, right, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this should be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. Okay? But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world, man. You see, this is something that elite heathen know this. Okay, starting with Esau. If we're cohesive with our power, we're operating in an obedient spirit, okay, to the best of our ability, because the Lord knows what He created, man. He knows that we're in these chains of darkness, bro. You know, he understands that. So he has mercy. That's why when you read Sirach 17, it says offend less. Because we're going to offend. Okay, but ultimately, the blood of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and the testimony that they have is going to cover the elect. As it tells us in Revelations 12. As a matter of fact, we're going to close out with that. We're about to win. We're about to win. Look at Jake. Look at the mindset of Jake. All right, Jake still subscribes to being black. They still think they descend from Africa. Okay? They're in a position where they believe in Esau's educational system. Okay, they believe in Esau's philosophy. They believe in Esau's God, which is Jesus Christ. Okay, they don't see how they've been downtrodden. All right, by the same individual that they cling so tight to. Showing you that they're under a spell. Drake is under a spell in his Christianity. All right? Or Egyptology. Or Pan-Africanism. Okay? Or witchcraft. Buddhism. Whatever philosophy Jake gripped onto thinking that's them. Okay? They're sick. All right? Jeremiah, the 5th chapter tells us they're revolted and gone. 2/3 of our people are revolted and gone. They're completely finished. And there's no turning them. There's no turning them back. Islam, that's a big one. You know? Between Christianity and Islam, man. God damn, and we know Islam, you know, it's pretty much a spin-off, you know, of Christianity. You know? It's rooted in, from the Roman Catholic Church. That's where its roots come from, but Jake is finished. Jake is out of there, man. Jake is in such a and you see it, and the spirit the Lord is putting on the spirit of Elder Manata Zakbar to bring forth these videos of these niggas, man. Okay, and so the church can see how degraded and how necessary it is for them to just be reset. Jake just needs to be reset. There's no reasoning with them. We can't reason with the scripture says let us reason together. Okay, you can't reason with a renegade, man. With a barbarian. You can't reason with a barbarian. Try to reason with a barbarian, man. And watch where you find. You might end up dead, man. There's no reasoning with them. You see, they need to be reset, is what they need. They need to be gathered up, as the scriptures say, okay? And the Lord needs to do it, is going to do his thing with them. All right? So they can reset, they'll come back in their right mind. You know? Let me see if I want a little bit more here. That's pretty much the point. But Holofernes was cut to the point where let me read 22, right? And when Achior had finished these sayings, all the people standing around him the tent murmured, and the chief men of Holofernes and all that dwelt by the seaside and in Moab spake that he should be deleted, man. Okay? So they were cut to the spirit. Hey, because Achior was speaking the truth. That was the truth. Because how do we know? The track record of Israel is they knew it. Okay? They knew it. He was speaking on it. He spoke on the history. You see? He spoke on the history, man. And those heathen that were with him, they were cut. Now, mind you, we're in Judith, man. All right? King David, all that history with Solomon, the 40 years of peace. The heathen knew these things, man. That cut them to the spirit, and it started raining harder. Now we talking about this talking point, man. Hey, the tabernacle of David is being raised up. You see? The tabernacle of David is being raised up, and it's not going to be stopped. Okay? We're about to win Akiyam and Akwad. Let me go here. I almost want to get that Amos 9 before we close. Let's get that Amos 9 first. Yeah, let's do that. Amos 9 and 10, and it reads. We'll close out with Revelations, though. Right? Amos 9 and 10, and it reads. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. Who's this talking about? 2/3 of you, Jake. Sin is what? Transgression of the law. And this is what you niggas are doing openly. Okay? You're doing it openly without any fear. Okay? Without any remorse. You know, you don't give a damn. So guess what? The Lord's not going to give a damn when he sends that cruel messenger your way and he settles the score with you. You see? You see? So let's read that again. Amos 9 and 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, man. And we know the sword is the modern day gun. In its perfection, it's the ICBM missile. And everything in between, it can be likened unto a syringe. Okay, it can be likened unto your food, the air, the water. Okay? Because remember, Esau is that sword. He was blessed with it. And he can make anything into a sword, a killing instrument. You see? That's what he's wired to be able to do. And ultimately, there's going to be Esau that storms you Jakes too. The modern day Assyrian. The Lord's going to allow him to unleash on you, man. Look, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. You see, so Jake is in a reprobate mind. That's a reprobate mind right there. Right? Let's read that again. Which say the evil, which goes into bad times, man. Okay? Eve going into time, ill going into bad. Shall not overtake nor prevent us, man. Jake thinks that everything's going to be okay. You tell Jake what's going on real time. You speak prophecy, make it cohesive with the talking point of what's happening on the news, in an article, or an event. Jake tells you, listen, it's not going to happen in that lifetime. You know, maybe you got niggas that were a cheap priest talking about the Lord's coming back, could be coming back in 1,000 years. All right, showing you that his trajectory is off when it comes to measuring the times. Okay, you got Jake in a mindset of wanting to stay here. They want to stay getting beat upside the head and kicked in the ass with a steel-toe boot from Esau. They enjoy it. You see? But we want to go home. We're through. We're done. We're done with this, man. We're done. We've as the beloved priest Yashamath said this. I believe he did a lesson on it. We've outgrown this eon. We outgrown this eon. Everything's played out. In the horn chimed in. Everything's played out. Okay? This constant hamster wheel. You know? Wake up in the morning or whatever time you got to wake up for work. Go to work. Go through the motions. Come home. Barely have time to yourself. If you have a family, barely got time for them. You barely got time for a hobby. You barely got time to take care of yourself. Okay? You barely got time to take a shit. Okay? You're under the yoke. We are done with this place, bro. Honestly, going back to the spiritual world will be a better option. Because then we rest from our labors, as it tells us in Revelation 14, man. But our labors are going to follow us, though. You see? Because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is not unrighteous to forget our works and labor of love, man. You see? But ultimately, we got to be here, man. Like the beloved Apostle Paul said, man. We got to be here to serve you, beloved Akiyam and Akwaf, man. To build up the tabernacle of David, man, through the Spirit. This is the third temple being built right here, right now. You see? So we have to be here. We have to continue to fight. That's why 1 Timothy tells us, 1 Timothy, 6? We have to fight that fight of faith, that good fight of faith, man. We got to fight. And it's going to be a dog fight, you know, up until the end. But we love it, though, at the end of the day. Because this ain't nothing like having the Spirit on you. And to be around beloved Akiyam and Akwaf that believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua as well and see that hope. You know, they see that light at the end of the tunnel. It's a beautiful thing, man. Right? Let's continue on. Verse 11, Amos 9:11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof. And this is happening right now. Okay, those breaches, right, the southern and northern kingdom are being brought back together. Okay? We're no longer in a position where we're looking at a Mexican, which is Issachar, some type of way. Or a Dominican, which is a Simeonite, some type of way. Or Puerto Rican, which is an Ephraimite, some type of way. All right? No. We understand those are our brothers. All right? And they suffered the same plight. Okay? The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American suffered the same plight. All right? And no other nation has suffered that plight. All right? Pursuant to the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter, man. Starting around the 12th verse. Okay? And that's real. Right, let's continue on. But guess what? The Lord's raising up the tabernacle with David, man. We are about to go home. We're about to win. through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, of course, right? And again, when you look into what was happening during the tabernacle of David being raised up, the heathen were under subjection. Okay, the heathen were under subjection. They weren't wiggling around doing what they want, you know, and not wiggling around. That's Elder Elder Yashawamba word right there. But real talk, you know what I mean? Like they weren't just doing what they want, you know. They weren't just able to just, you know. No, there were garrisons in their land. Okay, they were under bond servants, man. They were subjugated, man. Okay, hey, this is what's coming back. Let's continue on. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as the days of old. See? Okay, so what's all this everybody can be saved nonsense that you get out of the church? This 501c3 form of doctrine. What's that up? What's that universal doctrine about? It's not cohesive with the scriptures, and it never will be, because it's a false doctrine. Right, verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, right, his land, right, and all and of all the heathen, which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this, because this was what was going on during the tabernacle of David and days of old being raised up. How do you think that 40 years of peace, and I'm talking to the choir, you know, I'm just speaking through the spirit. How do you think that 40 years of peace, okay, was acquired during the time of Solomon? All right, it was because of the the terror, all right, that King David brought forth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai upon them heathen, man, and set up shop and gain that dominance, man, of the known world, man. You see? So how much more now? Okay? Upon the return of Yahweh Shai, we're about to win. Let's go ahead. The book of Revelations, chapter 12. And verse 10. We'll close out here through the spirit because I got to get ready to go to camp. Let's see here. The book of Revelation, chapter 12. And verse 10. Yeah, let's start at verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation. And this is upon the seventh trumpet being sounded, is when this is going to happen. Right? And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power. Not everybody's power. Okay, Salakia. Not everybody's power. Of our power. Israel's power. Okay? Your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Let's continue on. Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Mashiach, right, Yahweh Shai, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, right? Psalms 50 goes into it, right? Which accused them before our power day and night, man. And he's doing it to this day. But guess what? Those of the elect are gonna be found blameless before the throne of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Being that what? This right here is proven. This is gonna prove that right here. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, first and foremost. You see, by the blood of Yahweh Shai, showing you that sacrifice he made was essential for us to be able to be brought back into good graces, all right, with the Heavenly Father, man. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, man. By the word of their testimony. The elect are the faithful witnesses, man. Look, and they love not their lives until the death, man. You see, the elect are not holding on to this life, understanding that this is not life. Okay, we're corporate slaves, man. We're eating contaminated food. We're drinking out of plastic bottles. Okay? We have nothing on this side, man. And even for some of you, Jake, that think you got some money, and all you are is a slave with more money. It's all it is. Okay, because at the end of the day, you got a sailing. All right, you still got to answer to an old Amalekite. You don't got it. You don't got sovereignty. All right, you don't own no land, man. You may think you do, but you don't. You paying property taxes. You don't own no land. Okay? You through with the rest of us, man. But guess what? The hopeful elect are not through. We're through in the sense of being in a situation where we're in the worst case scenario, you know, which is a true saying by the beloved Elder Yashawamba. We're in the worst case scenario. It can't get no worse than this. And as Esau pushes forth this AI technology, come on, man. Okay? Hey, we're gonna need Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. We're gonna need divine intervention. We're gonna need to be protected or changed, okay, to execute that protection by of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Because as we know, there's certain men that are gonna receive spiritual powers. Okay, so we need to, Lord willing, we're around those men or we receive that power. Okay, because hey, at the end of the day, it's gonna take divine intervention in order for us to escape what's coming. You see, and hey, at the end of the day, we're the elect, and we're part of that precious number. We're going to be delivered, even through so-called death. Okay, even through so-called death. Romans 8 tells us nothing can separate us, man, from our lot. All right, not even death. All right, because at the end of the day, this thing's gonna play out the way Yahweh Bashem Yahushua wants it to play out, man. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, has no control over the situation. He's already lost control over the narrative. You know, everybody's calling him out. You know, he's been found out to be a degenerate. Okay, a complete freak. Okay, and he can't be trusted. The world is this is on the global world stage, man. All right, how we know that? How do we know this? Hey, his allies are turning against him, man. Europe is like, yo, let's pull out, let's pull away from this dude, man. All right, they're all Edomites as well, but what I'm saying is that there's a schism within the household. There's a schism within the Edomite household. All right, and it tells us in the scriptures. If let's close out with this. Now this is Yahweh Shai speaking. This is the book of Matthew chapter 12 and verse 26, and it reads, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. Excuse me. Forgive me. In the book of 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, all right, it tells us that Esau comes in the workings of the spiritual demon Satan. All right, he's operating under that frequency. All right, so within his regime, okay, they're casting each other out. All right, now Yahweh Shai is telling us here, Matthew 12 and 26, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? We're watching the downfall of an empire as we see Esau come up against Esau. All right, Trump pulling out of the NATO, the EU pulling away from the this Western bloc. You see, we're seeing it right before our eyes. We're witnessing the downfall of Esau. All right, he's tearing from the seam, crumbling at the foundation. All right, looking crazy. All right, falling headlong, man. Through. Hey, we're about to go home soon, Nakiyam and Nakwaf. We about to win through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, man. So hold fast. Hold fast. Let me see something real quick. I want to read this one more time. I want to read it one more time, and we're going to close out. Revelations 12 and 11, one more time. And they overcame him, who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. We overcame him, his system, his image, his mark, all right? By the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, man. You see? Showing you that this truth is, hey, This is the way home. And they love not their lives until the death, man. Hey, so by any means necessary, hey, we going home. Akiyama Nakwa, there ain't no way around it. We are about to win. We gotta believe that. We gotta hold fast to that. As things get, more rocky, as things get, crazy. It's gonna get crazy out here, man. Understand that we have to. That's how it has to play out in efforts for the Lord to show His power. Okay, so Rock 35 tells us, all right, that mercy is seasonable in a time of affliction, man. Mercy is seasonable in a time of affliction. It's got to get tough, all right, in order for Yahweh Bashim Shai to show that true power, man, that divine power, man. So, yeah, man, I'm going to leave you Akiyama Nakwa with that. I got to get ready to go to camp, Salakia. This actually went longer than I thought, but it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Hey, Tawada for tuning in. Hey, let me see the comment board real quick. Salakia. Because I got to make sure I give brothers the wrench. The certain Akiyam. I got to put you on with the wrench through the spirit if I haven't already. Hey, Shalom, beloved Akiyam and Akwaf. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Barakatam. Let me see here. Oh, beloved brother Yana got Israel Benjamin 144K. Shalom, Amat. Let me give you the wrench, Akia. That's the beloved brother from the Rhode Island camp. We actually meet up in Boston when we go see the elders. The beloved brother Yanaka. Yo, subscribe to that brother. Subscribe to all these brothers' channels. That you see on the comment board. If you're not subscribed, you're already. Let me see here, bro. Let me give you the wrench real quick. All right, boom. You got him a lot. Yeah, man. Let me see. Beautiful presets, man. Kazakh on fire as always. Aziala, Idaho. I ain't even see you, Ak. I got you, brother. I got you right here. You got it, beloved Akia. Aziala, Idaho. I ain't even see you pop up, brother. Aiza Yala, Salaki. Aiza Ya'ala, Salaki. Speaking quick, I'm excited. Forgive me. I love you, Akiyam and Akwaf, man. This is a beautiful thing, man, what we're involved in. Because this is true love right here, man, what we're involved in now. When we're in the world, caught up in whatever you were caught up in. We were all caught up in our own little thing. Whatever circle you had around you or whatnot, hey, them brothers and sisters didn't love you. For you brothers, them niggas didn't, you know what I'm saying? For you sisters, them sisters didn't, man, listen. They were trying, in every way, shape, form, and fashion, they were trying to find a way to get over on you. Okay, you would drop your wallet, they'll find your wallet, put it in their pocket, and help you look for your wallet. That's your old circle, okay? Because they don't fear the Lord. Not this circle. You see, we fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Let me see here. I'm gonna leave it right there. I gotta get ready for camp Akiyam and Akwa Salaki. I'm already running behind at this point. I'm gonna close out with that. Hey, the water Akiyam and Akwa, the water. Hey, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwaf will edify. Hey, we are about to win. Shalom.